Hi, I'm Angie, a Best Buy Home Expert, and today I'm going to talk about electric bikes, often referred to as e-bikes. This mode of transportation is getting more and more popular, and there are a lot of things to consider when buying one. We have a great buying guide on bestbuy.com, and the link to it is in the description below. We'll cover some of the options in this video to help you choose the one that works best for you. Let's start with the basics. E-bikes have classifications. Class 1 or 2 is meant for trails or off-roading, whereas Class 3 is typically for street riding only. Now, before we get too deep, you should know that some states have laws on where and how they can be used. So, make sure to check your local laws before you buy or start riding one. Another thing to consider is that e-bikes are primarily for adults. Many local regulations prohibit the use of e-bikes by anyone under the age of 16. However, they do exist. E-bikes that are designed for children and operate at slower speeds are coming soon. All right, let's talk more about the classifications. Class 1 e-bikes have a pedal assist, a max speed of 20 miles per hour, and don't have a throttle. Pedal assist means the electric motor doesn't start until you begin pedaling, and stops when you stop pedaling. You could potentially go faster than 20 miles per hour, but the motor won't kick in until you get below the max speed. Class 1 e-bikes are typically legal to ride on city streets and most bike paths and trails. Class 2 e-bikes have a throttle, which means you can start the motor without pedaling. Most throttles are a grip twist or a button on the handlebars. Like Class 1, Class 2 e-bikes also have a max speed of 20 miles per hour. But again, you can go faster using just the pedals without the motor. Class 2 e-bikes are also typically legal on city streets and most trails and bike paths. Some Class 2 e-bikes can be configured as Class 3, which increases the max speed of the motor. You can typically find this info in the instruction manual. If you have the need for speed, you might want to look into a Class 3 e-bike. These have a max speed of 28 miles per hour. The motor operates via pedal assist. Because of their speed, they typically aren't allowed on bike trails or bike paths. However, they're a great option for commuters to use on city streets. All right, now let's talk about the right size. Well, first check the specs. The max height and weight limits are a good indicator. Second, comfort is key. You'll want an e-bike that's small enough to easily reach the pedals, but large enough to extend your legs with a slight bend. If you're shopping online, we have some great tools on bestbuy.com to help you choose. Next, think about where you'll be riding. If you'll be starting and stopping often, putting your feet down along the way, a smaller bike might be beneficial. Another consideration is the distance between the saddle and the handlebars. If you're taller, a larger one might be a better fit, giving you more room for leg movement. And speaking of, let's talk about frames. There are 3 primary types: step-through, step-over, and foldable. Step-through frames don't have a bar connecting the front and back. They're great for riders who might not be as flexible or for those that stop often, making it easier to get on and off. Step-over e-bikes have a crossbar connecting the front and back of the frame and tend to be sturdier. They're usually preferred by street riders. Foldable frames are great if you need to transport it in a vehicle, keep it inside your home, or even under your desk at work. They typically have a slightly smaller wheel diameter and fewer gears to help with portability, which is something to consider when you're shopping. All right, now let's talk about motors. That's the main benefit of an e-bike. It helps with hills, on challenging paths, and during long rides. The size of the motor determines the amount of assistance. If you plan to take your e-bike on longer journeys or need help going up hills, you'll want a more powerful motor, coupled with a powerful battery. Batteries range from 250 watts to 2,000 watts. The duration depends on several factors, including weight, speed, and terrain. In other words, the harder it works, the faster it'll run out. Some e-bikes even have a removable battery, so it's easy to bring inside to charge. Okay, so those are the basics, but there are other things to think about when buying an electric bike. For example, wheel size. Larger wheels make for a smoother, more stable ride, while smaller wheels are more maneuverable. When it comes to brakes, some e-bikes have hydraulic disc brakes which contain either 4 pistons, 2 pistons, or 1. A 4-piston brake is more consistent and faster. 2 and 1 piston brakes are slightly less responsive, and mechanical brakes are typically found on less expensive e-bikes and are operated by cables. So those are just a few more things to consider when you're shopping for the right e-bike. And of course, always get the right accessories, like a helmet, lock, lights, and maybe a GPS or a garage mount. All right, so there you have it. That's some information to help you decide what type of e-bike to buy. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you're ready to get started, visit a blue shirt in one of our stores. Check out the options on bestbuy.com or use the link below to set up time with a Best Buy home expert, like me. We'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching.